Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new, very advanced scenario video of Zoo Tycoon. It is the last of the Dinosaur Digs scenarios today. It is breeding the T-Rex. So obviously I'm aware that it's been a long time since I made a Zoo Tycoon video, or indeed a video of any kind in general. No real particular reason for that, I suppose just not had the opportunity to do so, and also I had to wait for the countdown timer to run out on the previous scenario, which was Return to Dinosaur Island Research Lab, because that actually had a 36-month time limit, and I basically had to wait for about 10 in-game months for it to finish. During that time, I would say it was very uneventful and boring, but I'd be lying, because basically I didn't record, obviously, so it was all off camera, but essentially I didn't build any new exhibits, I didn't build any buildings, I didn't build any paths or anything like that. But, as you might expect, the usual suspects, that is to say the Allosaurus, the Spinosaurus, and even the Apatosaurus, escaped, some more than once. And I basically got fed up and hired 50 maintenance workers, I think in total, not including the ones I'd already had. Sorry, including the ones I already had, not 50 new ones. Which is obviously very expensive, but I had loads of money by this point. Unfortunately, that still wasn't enough, because due to the unique nature of dinosaurs, as soon as the fence becomes slightly broken, the dinosaur will basically make a run for the exit, seeing the slightly broken fencing, crash it down, and escape their enclosure. So basically, you can have all the maintenance workers in the world, but as soon as the fence breaks, there's only 10 seconds between the fence breaking and the dinosaur realising, and then subsequently escaping, that you have a time window for the maintenance worker to repair the fence. And if you don't repair the fence, the dinosaur will escape, unless of course you're actually paying attention, which I wasn't, because I was sat not paying attention, because I basically just left the game on play, because I thought, oh, this scenario is already won. So I came back, only to realise that my dinosaurs had escaped. Fortunately, I was able to rectify the situation, and basically I got fed up with the situation and just used the pit method, which is to say that you lower the entire dinosaur exhibit by exactly 2 squares. You can lower it by more, it's just unnecessary, and the dinosaur can't escape. We've seen it before on the Island Zoo scenario, where an animal cannot go up or down more than 2 squares if the surrounding area is covered by water. Yeah, so basically the dinosaur couldn't escape, even if the fence broke. Which, to be fair, it's reinforced electrified concrete fencing. It's the strongest fencing in the game, so it wouldn't break on its own that quickly. It's just, it breaks, and therefore the dinosaur escapes. Kind of a shame that I didn't record all that, because it would have been quite hilarious to watch me just be stressed out by these stupid dinosaurs that kept escaping, but also it was very frustrating for me, so it's a combination of how hilarious is it to watch me get stressed, and basically just sit around waiting, because other than the occasional dinosaur escaping, not a lot really happened. Without further ado, let's start breeding the T-Rex. So like I said, this is the final Dinosaur Digs scenario, and after this I think there's 3 more scenarios, which are all very advanced, that don't have time limits. This one doesn't have a time limit, thankfully, so I can just end the video as soon as I win the scenario, no more sitting around waiting for the time limit to end, and also no more sitting around worrying that I don't have enough time to actually complete the scenario. But yeah, the 3 after this are all Marine Mania, although they also feature Zoo Tycoon and Dinosaur Digs content. Or at least some of them do anyway. So yeah, with all the profits from your many successful dinosaur zoos, you have invested in a large plot of land in Santa Cruz, California, where you can retire. However, you are approached with the challenge of a lifetime. You must mate 2 Tyrannosaurus Rex, hence the name breeding T-Rex, so that they conceive a baby T-Rex. Also, just care for 1 dinosaur is not enough to run a zoo, so you will also need to exhibit at least 14 other dinosaurs or animals in the zoo. Notice it says 14 other dinosaurs or animals in the zoo. You'll notice that the objective doesn't actually state you have to have 14 dinosaur exhibits. It just says 14 exhibits. And you can adopt Zoo Tycoon. You can't adopt Marine Mania, but you can adopt Zoo Tycoon. So technically, the only dinosaur that we actually have to have is the T-Rex. We can just get away with 14 regular Zoo Tycoon exhibits, which is both cheaper, takes up less space, but also a hell of a lot easier overall. Zookeepers only get paid $800 a month, scientists get paid $1,000 a month. Zoo Tycoon fencing is a lot cheaper than dinosaur fencing, and the exhibits can be a lot smaller. So, zoo animals are obviously just better in every way, really. And also, guests actually really like zoo animals compared to dinosaur animals. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've said it before and I'll say it again. That was a joke. Guests in this game are so stupid that they would rather see something like a Bengal tiger, which admittedly, you know, you go to the zoo, you want to see a Bengal tiger because it's cool as hell. But they would rather see a Bengal tiger, which probably quite a lot of zoos around the world have, than something like a Kentrosaurus. Which, okay, it's not the most exciting of dinosaurs, but nobody's seen one for about 100 million years because it's been extinct since the Jurassic period. Anyway, it is extremely important to complete all Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, sorry, a male and female T-Rex will be donated to the zoo at the end of the first year. It's extremely important to complete all Tyrannosaurus Rex research programs. Without this viable research, the Tyrannosaurus would not be amiable enough to mate. In addition, the Tyrannosaurus Rex female shall be kept very happy or she will be unable to conceive. We start with 150,000 plus whatever we can get from deleting all this unnecessary scenery, minus what it takes to actually, you know, build the scenery how we want it. So let's just say, for sake of argument, we start with $160,000. I don't know. That's just a guess. Can I build 14 exhibits in the first year? Maybe. Probably not. But that's not the point. Because I think that basically if a dinosaur or an animal, or a marine animal, is basically in a crate, it's just kind of immortal. I don't think they can die of old age in a crate, but I could be wrong on that. And presumably, if you research the T-Rex, which is like the last thing that you research if you research genetic research, I think it is, for adopting more dinosaur species, the last one is the T-Rex. So yes, you have to spend a lot of time and money to be able to research the T-Rex, but I think basically if the male and female T-Rex are, you know, die of old age before they breed or something, we can just get a new one. Because otherwise, you know, if the male and female T-Rex you get donated die of old age, or you just, for some reason, unable to adopt another one, the scenario just becomes impossible. Which is stupid. Anyway. So, zoo rating of 90. That is, you know, probably actually the hardest objective, really, but with 14 exhibits, that should be fine. We've had a zoo rating of 90 many a time, with less exhibits, so it's not a problem. Suitability rating of at least 90 for 14 exhibits, not a problem. Baby T-Rex, that will come with time, it's not difficult. Basically, this scenario isn't actually that difficult, it's just it might take a while for the T-Rex to breed, and also you've got to build 14 exhibits. But really, I'm expecting this to take, as an initial guess, maybe 2 in-game years. We'll see. Let's unpause the game, and level up this terrain. I also realise I've been recording now for like 9 minutes and I'm only just now getting into the game, so yeah, apologies for that. I tend to ramble and rant about things. Don't get me wrong, I like this game, but there's a lot about this game that I find kind of stupid, like, as I've said before, you know, imposed time limits and restrictions. I want to leave that water tower if possible, because I don't think destroying the water... Oh, the water tower's outside the map anyway, it's fine. I can just mass delete. Right, there's no point levelling off that terrain because it is right on the edge of the map anyway. But I will build the compost building, as always. And it can just go there, nice bit of flat terrain. I'm just wondering actually if it would fit over there. No, it doesn't. No problem. Right. So the compost building obviously doesn't require any upkeep. and it basically just gives you money every time you clean up some animal poo. It's a must-have unless you're doing marine only, in which case marine animals don't poo as such, they just make the tank dirty. So yeah, we basically just want to build 14, I suppose, technically 13, Zoo Tycoon exhibits. That's about all I can really say, which is... Oh, and also they need to have suitability of 90 for all of them, at least. Really nothing difficult. This zoo is probably going to end up looking a lot like every other zoo we've ever built. And as always, I don't have a plan for this. I'm just going to grass this out. Actually, that's kind of unnecessary. Just grass out this bit. And then this bit as well. Yeah, I'll just grass out the whole thing. So yeah, we start with about $150,000, which is plenty for some Zoo Tycoon exhibits. Right, well let's start with... pretty sure crocodiles can't just jump in this game, so let's start with crocodiles. I say jump, I mean like jump or climb out. So yeah, let's just start with some crocodiles. Crocodiles are a popular animal and they're easy enough to get to a high suitability, and I build them in basically every Zoo Tycoon zoo. I'm not actually using my guide right now. I mean, I have it open, I could get it, but I'm just kind of doing this from memory, if anything. I've done it so many times, I should know it by now. Spoiler alert, I don't. I mean, I know it roughly, you know. Bit of dirt, bit of salt water, but I don't know, like, the exact proportions. Although, as it happens, it seems like that's basically it. And I think you meant to use water lilies, because I think they actually prefer them to water reeds, which I've stated many times that is flawed and silly, but it saves me a bit of money, so I'm not exactly complaining. I think the silver plaque for excellence in exhibit design is 80 suitability, but it could be 85. That's 99, isn't it? Yeah, 99 suitability. Right. So, we are essentially 1/13 the way through building the required exhibits. I'm going to save the game as breeding the T-Rex. Breeding the T-Rex. And there you go. We're going to need the restaurants and the carousel and a petting zoo and an animal theatre and Japanese garden. Well, actually, let's put the gift shop over here. And then animatronic theatre. And let's build path. Change up prices, change this to $17, change this to $6, change this to $7, change this to $10, and change this to $6. And change the colour. There you go. And immediately, even though these guys have only existed for about 3 weeks, they've already managed to have some babies, which is inconvenient because it's 2 males, so they're going to have to be sold off when they grow up. So, handily, there's actually no guest or animal happiness requirements rating. Animal happiness is not a problem. Guest happiness can be a bit of a problem, but we should be able to get 95 guest happiness, which, as always, is very nice because you get an extra 25,000 for the award money. One time only, of course, but it always helps early on. Which I don't like that. Yeah, leave it like that. Am I missing something? I feel like I am. In terms of buildings, I built the animatronics there, so I built gift shop, petting zoo, carousel. I suppose we can put the elephant ride. Yeah, we can put the elephant ride here, and oh yeah, Japanese garden. That was it. There we go. Japanese garden can go there. And there you go. Elephant ride, $5. Right, so we've got the setup with the bare essentials. Oh, I know you need to actually increase this to $29. So all of this is basically just, you know, standard stuff. We do actually have a huge map. You know, you can fit 14 dinosaur exhibits on there, probably. But obviously we're just going to go with 14 regular Zoo Tycoon exhibits. Oh, this zookeeper actually needs to be assigned to this exhibit. And then we can build a second exhibit nearby, which they will then be assigned to. And we could actually just cheap out and go for like bison or something. Why not? Bison are reasonably popular. So that is 6x10. So that's big. Actually, let's go for 8x10, just to be safe. Bison exhibit. Yeah, bison are incredibly easy to build an exhibit for. You just build a bit of grass, a bit of fresh water, some rocks, and some bushes. They're like the grass version of a zebra or a gazelle, I suppose, in that their exhibit is basically just grass or savanna, foliage, rocks, and fresh water in a stable. Or, actually I think it's the lean-to for the gazelles and zebras. Anyway, that is 99 suitability. That wasn't difficult, was it? Saltwater Crossguard 4 is ill. Great. Right, Zookeeper needs to be assigned to that exhibit as well. And immediately the bison gives birth. Right, that didn't take long. Right, well, we don't need... I don't know why that's saying 24216. We don't need foliage. Don't need endangered animals. Yeah, let's just go with animal houses, I suppose. Genetic research could actually be worthwhile to get later on if we need the T-Rex. Don't need animal shelters. Don't need scientist training. Don't need T-Rex care right now. Dinosaur care, no. Animal enrichment, no. Staff education, yes. And animal care, yes. And we don't need animal houses right now. Right. Back to Zoo Tycoon. And let's get our third exhibit, which can be a polar bear. Why not? Okay. Got some vomiting guests for some reason. Don't know why, but we do. Right. Male polar bear, female polar bear. And, yeah, the unhealthy or sick animals have been cured, it would seem. Oops. Right. Snowy rock, small. And a shelter, wood shelter. He's saying there's too many rocks, the polar bear is saying 96 suitability. 97 suitability. I don't think we can get any toys. No, because the toys for the polar bear are classed as like Marine Mania items, so I think we're basically limited to 97 suitability, which is fine, because we only need 90, which is nothing. 90's, you know, kind of like the bare minimum. Even sort of problematic animals, I say problematic as in difficult to get exhibit suitability for animals, like I think camel tends to be 1. Even then, getting like above 90 is dead easy, really. If you know what you're doing. But yeah, really, there are no animals that I should struggle with getting 90 suitability for, so I can just build whatever I want, really. Zookeeper training 1 is now available. No, we don't want maintenance worker training 1, not just yet. So yeah, let's just go for animal care for now, I suppose. Right, this zookeeper needs to be assigned to this exhibit. Yep, that's going along nicely. And then we can build our 4th exhibit. Bloody hell. Is there something in the water? Because, like, these animals are breeding a hell of a lot. You know. We've already got baby crocodiles, baby bison, and now a baby polar bear. And we haven't even researched animal fertility. It's pretty crazy. Right, we want something that doesn't need a lot of space. Although that's 12, so something that's quite happy in a 60 square exhibit. I think you can fit 2 lions in that, but I don't know if that would make them happy. Might be able to get away with... Oh, hang on. I think anteaters you can get away with a very small exhibit. Yeah, let's just try anteaters. I mean, I've probably made this too big, but whatever. I can't spell. Anteater exhibit. So it turns out that anteaters do actually want some grass. How do they feel about dirt? Yeah, they like a bit of dirt. And fresh water? Apparently they like fresh water. But only a tiny, tiny bit. Rocks. No rocks, okay. And trees, obviously. If I can find the thing, there it is. So obviously being a rainforest animal, the anteater wants a lot of foliage. But yeah, that's 99 suitability. Brilliant. Zookeeper 2 needs to be assigned to the anteaters. How are we doing for guests? We've got 97 guests, with an average guest happiness of 91. Animals, 98 happiness. Zoo rating 83, obviously that's just because we only have 4 exhibits, really. We haven't actually done much research. The more research you do, the better the zoo rating. The more exhibits, the better the zoo rating. The happier the animals and the guests, the better the zoo rating. Also, I don't know if awards actually increase zoo rating or not. Zoo rating is kind of weird, but I think there's like a formula for it, but I don't know what it is. Oh, now we research animal fertility, as if we need it. We're getting enough baby animals as it is. Save the game. What should we do next? Maybe Siberian tiger? Or maybe just like a savannah animal? Maybe camel? Yeah, let's go for camel. Camel's nice and cheap and easy. That's 9. Okay. That's 7, that's 6. Six, 7, 8 by 10. Camel exhibit. Actually, I might have been better off making this 100 squares, because animals in this game require specific percentage points of their exhibits. So obviously building exhibits as a size multiple 100. As a size of multiple 100 squares, like a 100 square exhibit or a 200 square exhibit, means that you can get the highest exhibit suitability rating because you get the exact percentage requirements of the terrain types that they want. Saying that, it might not be entirely necessary, because I only need 90 suitability and I could probably just do that as it is. If I get another female camel, it's not... yeah, the exhibit is big enough. Oh my god, another ill crocodile. Something wrong with these crocodiles. They breed a lot, but they're getting very ill. Right, more palm trees. Maybe that's why they're getting ill, because they breed so much. Anyone looked into that? .94 suitability. Wow. 95 suitability, that's good enough. Right. And we need a third zookeeper to look after these camels. Right, next exhibit. We can do maybe the Siberian tiger, because I do like the Siberian tiger. Quite an interesting animal. Does require a bit of elevated terrain, but it's not exactly a difficult exhibit to build, really. Oops, Siberian tiger exhibit, not Siberian exhibit. Right, where's the bloody zookeeper that's supposed to be looking after these crocodiles? Because he's not doing a very good job. I was worried that him being ill would lower the guest happiness, but as it happens, they seem alright. Oops. Right. Foliage, foliage, foliage. Pine bush, yep. Oop, shit. Right, that might be enough foliage, I don't know. Right. So obviously we're going to need coniferous and snow and possibly a bit of grass. And then some fresh water as well. Oh, guess happiness has just hit 90. That's nice. I think that might be the first time that's done that. Oh, they actually don't want any grass. That's interesting. Okay. Probably don't want any dirt either. Can't remember, but I don't think they do want dirt. They actually want more snow than they do coniferous. It seems, anyway. Only 93 suitability. Oh, not enough grey stone, too much coniferous. Right. Okay. Yeah, so they really don't want any coniferous at all, really. Or, like, barely any. And yet, they're still listed as a coniferous animal. I suppose because they want coniferous foliage. Is that it, then? That the terrain classification of the animal is not so much based on the actual terrain, but rather the type of foliage that they want? I hadn't actually thought of that. But yeah, I think that is it. So highland animals want highland foliage, coniferous animals want coniferous foliage, even if coniferous animals don't necessarily want a great deal of coniferous terrain in their exhibit. How have I never noticed that? It's more to do with the foliage than the terrain in the actual exhibit. That is... We're like, what, 30 scenarios into this game and I've only just realised that? Wow. That's quite incredible, really. Wow, guess how it's 94. Yeah, Zoo Tycoon animals are just really popular for some reason. You'd think that dinosaurs would be, but nope, people just like regular old Zoo Tycoon animals. Right, have you been assigned to this exhibit? No, you haven't, but you have now. Which means I need another zookeeper, because I've got 6 exhibits. Right, so what's next? Well, just keep building exhibits, of course. What else? I think I might actually, yeah, spend some money researching some animal houses. Probably not recommended, and people do say that they're not worth it, but I think they're interesting, and they raise animal happiness. They raise guest happiness. Right, what do we want next? Don't want anything too complicated. Maybe moose? Actually, I could probably just get away with, like, zebra or something here. So that's 5. Oops, shit. Like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so that's like an 8 by 10 exhibit. Or, 16 by 5, so it's 80 squares. Somehow it's made them really unhappy. Why is the message box? I was going to say, why is the message box right at the top there? But, like, it's gone now. It was at the top, but it just didn't display anything. I don't know if that's like a weird bug or something. Ah, there you go. $25,000 for 95 guest happiness. So that will help me out with being able to afford all these exhibits. Oh, we've got some baby camels. Very nice. Right, so that's only 93 suitability. '96 suitability. That's good enough. Right, we do need the other zookeeper though. Brilliant. 7 exhibits that we now have. And we've almost got the primate house, which I can build over here. Yep, there you go. The aviary is really good as well. Yeah, build it like that. And just put some paths down. And a bit of scenery. Okay. Oh shit. Right, and then low fence or low hedge fencing around. I've not actually been using this in this scenario, but yeah. Just build it like that. And then like that, and then not over the entrance, because otherwise people won't be able to get in. And there you go. One primate house with a bit of scenery. 96 guest happiness now. And I'm going to raise the admission price up to $49. Yeah. So we're at 86 zoo rating, 98 animal happiness, 96 guest happiness. So yeah, the zoo's obviously doing rather well, although it does look exactly like basically every other zoo I've built in this game. But that's just how this game operates, I suppose. We've almost got the aviary, and people are starting to use the primate house, which is nice. Quality animal care for getting to June with, I want to say 98 animal happiness or higher. Not difficult, but the $5,000 is obviously very nice. Right, what do I want to build next? I can build literally anything. Aviary is now available. Very nice. Oh yeah, I said I was going to build moose. Yeah, let's go for moose. I like moose. I've never seen a moose in real life, but I would like to, because they are an interesting creature. And I would find that quite an interesting experience if I saw a moose in real life. Animal antibiotics is now available. Actually, I think moose actually have quite specific or demanding exhibit requirements. Not difficult, but quite specific. Seems to be something like that. And then trees. And they want, I think it's the Weeping Willow, isn't it? Yeah. Temporarily hide the foliage while I build the exhibit, so I can see what I'm doing. Right, how's that for suitability? 99. Brilliant. Okay. So yeah, we now have 8 exhibits. And we just need another 5. And then obviously the T-Rex exhibit, which will cost a lot of money to build, because it has to be... I think it has to be 200 squares for 2 T-Rex, or it might have to be 400 squares for 2 T-Rex. And it will have to be either reinforced concrete electric fencing, which is 350 per tile, or we just use the pit method, which initially would actually cost more money than just to build the regular fencing, but I think in the long run could save us money, potentially by not having to worry about the dinosaur escaping. Anyway, let's get an aviary, plank it in the middle there. Yeah, there's nothing really particularly difficult about scenario, and the fact there's no time limit makes it extra easy, really. The only hard part is obviously actually breeding the T-Rex itself, which you basically have no control over, but once that happens, you just win the scenario pretty much, so there's not really anything particularly difficult. Insect house is now available. Great. I think I'm going to stop researching animal houses. Unless I start going into dinosaur houses, there's nothing that I really want unless I do genetic research, which... Why is it saying 24216? I have no idea. If anybody knows what 24216 means, please let me know, because I have absolutely no idea. it's probably just something boring, like a database identity number. But why is it 24216? Right, I think that's all covered now. Yeah, that looks fine. We're already at 87 zoo rating, and we still need to build more exhibits, so I don't think the zoo rating is going to be a problem. Right, let's actually build out, because we keep building over this way. I'm just thinking maybe we should build out this way, or even this way, sort of closer to the entrance. I want some, yeah, I want some like 4x4. Dinosaur Dig's scenery is very expensive, and it's actually not that effective compared to just like regular Zoo Tycoon stuff. Really, a lot of Dinosaur Dig stuff is kind of novel and unique and interesting in that it's, you know, like, wow, dinosaurs, but that's more like for the human player rather than the actual in-game guests. The in-game guests basically don't really care, and they're just more interested in like Zoo Tycoon scenery than they would be about like a giant, you know, wall of fossils or a big dinosaur skeleton. Which is, yeah, flawed, but that's the way that the game works. Maybe in the universe of Zoo Tycoon, seeing dinosaurs is nothing new. Maybe loads of zoos around the world with dinosaurs, and maybe, you know, given that zoos can, you know, exhibit Stegosauruses, T-Rexes and woolly mammoths, maybe in the Zoo Tycoon universe these animals are actually just wild. And they're not extinct, and they're relatively commonplace. Who knows? Zoo Tycoon universe is, there's definitely something weird going on, because, like, why is that, you know, why is the tag not there? Like, why is it, because normally I swear it says, like, animal care, all things done, so. Right, well, let's start going into T-Rex, actually, yeah, let's start going into T-Rex care. Scientist training, I suppose, can come later. I don't think we need anything in conservation. No, we don't for the time being. Unless we just want like more animal houses and stuff like that. Anyway, let's just save the game. And we need more exhibits. Could build lions, I suppose. I tend to build lions in like basically every zoo though, like. Oh, I'm kind of bored of lions. I do want Zoo Tycoon though. Yeah, screw it, let's just go lions. The only problem with lions is they tend to breed a lot and you tend to end up with like overcrowding issues. Although handily, I've actually made a little 8x10 exhibit space entirely unplanned for myself. Yeah, so this is like exhibit 9 and 10 that we're on now. Yeah, so we've got one male and two female lions. We don't need to research toys for lions, because we can just get away with a small lion rock. Or the small lion climbing rock, or whatever it's called. What is it called? Find out in a second. I think it is small lion climbing rock. Oh, it's apparently small lion rock. Yeah. Okay. I think the big one is actually confusingly called the lion climbing rock, but then this one's called small lion rock, so I don't know. For some reason I tend to do rocks then foliage, but in actual fact it'd probably be easier to do foliage first and then rocks. Because the foliage you have to build on like complete squares, whereas rocks can just kind of go wherever they please. Like if you build rocks on all different squares without filling up the squares, it doesn't matter, whereas foliage, you want to fill up the square. Right, 99 suitability, that's great. This zookeeper needs to be assigned to the lions. Just wondering what that latest message was, because it was in white, so I was a bit confused, but it's just something saying that zookeepers can't be assigned to empty exhibits, which I wasn't planning on doing that, it just... I made a mistake. We haven't built a reptile house yet, so that can go here, I suppose. And hopefully that's enough space for an exhibit of some kind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only 54 squares. But there you go, that's now 60 squares. And yeah. Still researching T-Rex enrichment. So it will take a while to do all these T-Rexy things. And all I have is 99. That's about as high as... well, I was going to say, given it... I mean, it could be 100, but that would be extremely unlikely. And obviously it will fluctuate a lot. Yeah, let's get this low hedge fencing. Brilliant! Ooh, we're actually quite low on cash. Although this is exhibit 10. Maybe Bengal tigers? Yeah, they're popular, so let's go for Bengal tigers. Oh no, hang on. I've only got 60 squares, haven't I? Alright, let's go for jaguar, because I know that they don't need a big exhibit. And also don't need any research either, so that's nice. Yeah, I'm basically just saving costs and time by doing like the bare minimum of research, you know. The only problem with Jaguar is they don't seem to last a very long time in this game, and also you can only have a maximum of two Jaguar in the exhibit before they become unhappy. So if they breed and then the baby grows up, it'll have to be sold off. Oh, they don't want any grass, that's interesting. Just a bit of rainforest and dirt. I think that was T-Rex enrichment game available that I just cancelled out of. Right. Yes, it was T-Rex enrichment. T-Rex inoculations, less likely to catch diseases. What does T-Rex enrichment do then? Become happier when the scientist enters their exhibit. I mean, we don't need this right now. I'm just sort of doing it, like, so that we don't have to do it later, but maybe I should just cancel this research, I don't know. We do need foliage, though, and rocks. Can you find the Jaguar? There they are. But yeah, that's 99 suitability. Right, let's save the game. The 5th zookeeper needs to be assigned to the Jaguar, and we now have 10 exhibits. We were getting quite a few awards just then. That's for basically just having 10 different species in the zoo. That's for having 10 exhibits with, I think, 85 suitability or more. Neither of those come with any money, unfortunately. Zoo rating 87. Yeah. I won't have enough money to build, like, another 3 exhibits with the limited amount of money that I have left. So we might have to do some waiting around for money to come in. And obviously we've got to do that anyway because the dinosaur exhibit's going to be very expensive. I don't know where I want to put the dinosaur exhibit, or the T-Rex exhibit. I just suppose have to find 20 by 20 squares with which to build it. It might fit in somewhere like there. I don't know if that's 20 by 20, but it might fit there. It might even fit there, I don't know. Depends how big 20 by 20 really is. But the point is obviously it will fit on the map, because the map's huge. Much bigger than we actually need. I imagine that the game developers probably intended for you to build 13 dinosaur exhibits, but that would take a long time, because you wouldn't make as much profit, and you'd be hit with a double whammy of everything costing more anyway. Doing it with Zoo Tycoon animals is definitely the quickest, cheapest and easiest way of doing it. I actually think you would struggle to get 95 guest happiness with just dinosaurs as well. Which, you know, is stupid, but I think that would be the case. And actually, I've just realised that one thing I could do, and actually this makes a lot of sense and I'm going to do it, is instead of having 13 Zoo Tycoon animals and then the T-Rex, which would then require me to have 7 zookeepers and 1 scientist, I'm going to have 12 Zoo Tycoon animal exhibits, thereby only needing 6 zookeepers, and then a Caudipteryx exhibit, which can be used with Zoo Tycoon fencing, because the Caudipteryx has, like, no strength. It can... I'm pretty sure it can jump and climb out, so you just have to use, like, you know, standard wooden fencing, but not the low fencing. And Caudipteryx are very popular with guests anyway, and they're reasonably cheap and they don't require any research. And I don't think they even need that big an exhibit. I think you can just get away with like 10 to 10. And then that way I can get away with 6 zookeepers for the 12 exhibits, and 1 scientist who can look after the T-Rex and the Caudipteryx. That makes a lot more sense, so I'm going to do that. Although it will mean that I have to research just like regular old dinosaur care, as well as T-Rex care, unfortunately. Anyway, let's save the game. We've still got like 3.5 months before the T-Rex actually gets donated. Male and female T-Rex will donate to the zoo at the end of the first year. Yeah, so like 3.5 months before the male and female T-Rex get donated. No problem. And as one might expect, yeah, these buildings are profitable and being used. At some point we probably want to build a second restaurant. Maybe build that like over here. I don't know yet. I mean, we're not actually having like guest problems yet, but I'm just saying that we might do. So yeah, we want 2 more Zoo Tycoon animal exhibits, which can basically just be anything. Could even go like gazelle or something. I was going to do Bengal tiger. Yeah, maybe Bengal tiger, and I don't want anything that's like too complicated. I want something that's quite cheap. Gemsbok, I'm not quite cheap. Let's go with Gemsbok for now. Is it Gemsbok or Gemsbok? I don't know. But yeah, the Gemsbok. I think this is a bit like the camel in that you probably can't get like 99 suitability, but you can certainly get 90 suitability. And let's also put some scenery down. I actually don't really know how necessary all of this... T-Rex temperament. Yeah, teach the T-Rex to be more amicable so they can reproduce. Yeah, so we do want that. I was about to say, I don't know how useful all this T-Rex research really is going to be, but seeing that makes me think, yeah, it's probably quite useful. Anything to increase the probability that the T-Rex actually reproduces is always going to be, you know, a requirement. It might even be a scenario-only research. I'm pretty sure it is a scenario-only research thing that they've just created for the scenario specifically to increase the probability that the T-Rex will reproduce. I've had T-Rex reproduce either in free form or actually on video, I can't remember. But I've definitely had baby T-Rex before, so it's not like it's impossible. But you probably do need like regular old dinosaur care to increase probability of like dinosaur fertility and reproduction rates and stuff like that. But, you know, dinosaurs in this game do seem to live a very long time before they die of old age. So we should get a baby T-Rex. Shouldn't be a problem. A lot of very ill animals for some reason. Actually, I don't think I've done that much in terms of animal care. Or maybe I have, I can't remember. But anyway, we'll worry about that later, I suppose. With the emergency donation of $10,000, I'll probably have just enough money to build another exhibit. Because that'll take me up to about sort of $19,000. Looks like 93 suitability. Can I get a bit higher? 94. 95, that's good enough. I think any higher than that is probably not really doable. So 88 zoo rating. 95 guest happiness. But yeah, obviously that's fluctuating. 97 animal happiness. Neither of those are requirements. Right, so we need one more Zoo Tycoon exhibit, plus the Cordipteryx, and then the T-Rex, and then that's it. Yeah. Okay. How are we actually for the entrances? I can make that more efficient, can I not? Or make those more efficient. So crocodile and bison. Do something like that. Polar bear and anteater. That's as efficient as it's going to get. Camel and Siberian tiger. That's, yep. Zebra and moose. Yeah, I can make that more efficient. Might be an idea to actually put trees in. No, you can actually get into that exhibit. Good. For a moment I was thinking, like, surely the trees aren't blocking his way into that exhibit, but no, you can actually get in. Thinking about it, if the trees were blocking his way into the exhibit, then how would he have actually got into the exhibit as it is? Right, lion and jaguar. Well, the lions are there, and the jaguar are there, so that's no problem. And this zookeeper needs to be assigned to something or other. The thing I just built, which was the Gemsbok. Right, so yeah. Zoo rating 89. Once it hits 90, you do get the Best Zoo Silver Cup award, which doesn't give you any money, unfortunately. Actually move the exhibit entrance to over here, and that way I can better position it when I want to build the next exhibit. Oops. And I still haven't actually decided what I want to build. Maybe Bengal Tiger? They're pretty popular. Also relatively easy, maybe not the cheapest. Let's go for an 8x10 exhibit for 2 Bengal Tigers. Speaking of which, do I need to check for overcrowding? Because I think those crocodiles are probably grown up by now. And that would actually give me a bit of cash by selling off the excess babies. Right, American bison wants more shelters, but otherwise is fine. Put a shelter there. No, actually, put a shelter there like that. Okay, crocodiles. Yeah, we definitely want some maintenance workers now, because the fencing is starting to deteriorate. Fortunately, we haven't had anyone escape yet. Crocodiles. Too many animals, yeah, so given that 3 and 4 are both male, we can sell off 3 and 4. What was that just said? Oh, all selected programs are finished. Right, so we finished T-Rex care. We want What do we want, actually? Because we will need scientist care, and we'll probably need dinosaur care, so animal care, I think that's already done. Don't need animal enrichment. Staff education? Instance worker training... Just leave that for now, I suppose, and save us a bit of money. Yeah, maybe just put some money into animal houses. Get better stuff with the animal houses, maybe. Or actually, maybe just... Yeah, maybe just wait, save up some money. Once we've got more money, then we can look into getting better animal houses. It's not like we need them either, we've got 96 guest happiness as it is, so... Just base game animal houses with the bare minimum exhibits, they seem perfectly fine. Because the great thing about that is that whilst you have to spend money to build them and research them, you don't have to spend any money to upkeep them. Whereas if you go with like the more advanced ones, you do. Granted, they give you, better guest happiness bonuses, but you have to spend money on upkeep. So the base exhibit is not necessarily that bad. Right. I was actually still looking at are there too many animals? And yeah. Because it does give us a bit of cash. Okay, I want another camel shelter. Not a problem. Siberian tiger. Wow, they grow up quick, don't they? Yeah, they really grow up quick. Okay. 5 and 6 will need to be sold off. 3 and 4 can stay, so 1 and 2 can be sold off. Because 3 and 4 are male and female, so that's no problem. Zebra... Yeah, the exhibit's not big enough and they want more shelters. Right, well... 5 and 6 are both female. 4 is a female as well. Oh, two males, 2 females. Okay, let's sell 5 then. That sounds not enough shelters. Right. Bit confused. I think zebra you can just have like 1 male and the rest female, but... Oh, wrong bloody shelter. Right. So zebra are fine. Moose are fine. So I can actually fit 3 moose in that exhibit, that's no problem. And handily, moose only give birth to 1 baby, it seems. They don't seem to have twins or anything like that. Right, they want... not enough shelters and they want a toy. Gotta be careful because I don't want like loads of shelters and loads of toys that aren't being used in this exhibit. But as it is, this should be fine. That's fine. So, we're currently not actually doing any research then, are we? No. Right. Save the game. And this is the final Zoo Tycoon exhibit, which I said would be the Bengal Tigers. Best zoo. Right, so we've literally just hit 90 zoo rating. Wood shelter. No. No. There. Right. Right, foliage. Can get away with rainforest fern, because that's cheaper. Yeah, so this zoo's going to be a bit weird because it's going to have like 12 Zoo Tycoon animals and then just randomly have Caudipteryx and T-Rex. Caudipteryx being very popular with guests, as is the T-Rex. But, as I've said before, things like Kentrosaurus, which nobody's seen for like 100 million years, not that popular with guests. People would rather see Bengal tigers and saltwater crocodiles. Daft game. Right, I'm looking for rainforest. Where is it? There it is. And obviously I want some fresh water and some grass. Oop. No, 95 suitability because it needs more foliage, that's fine. There you go, 99 suitability. So save the game. Don't think I actually saved the game though. There you go. Right. So I haven't managed to build 14 Zoo Tycoon exhibits, but I don't need to. I've managed to build 12. And that is enough. I still have 1 month before the T-Rexes gets donated. And we actually hit 90 zoo rating, so yeah. Oh. Well, okay, the T-Rexes arrive 1 year, or rather, not 1 year, 1 month early. A pair of T-Rex has been delivered to your zoo's entrance. Yeah, they get given 1 month early. To be fair, it did say at the end of the first year, not the beginning of the second year. There is a difference. But yeah, so we've got a female and a male T-Rex. But we are in no position right now to exhibit them. So they're going to be sat there for quite some time. We can put the Caudipteryx over here, I suppose, because that is actually popular with guests as well. Although I will require the usage of a scientist, but then we also have to have the scientist for the T-Rex anyway, so it's not a problem. It will mean that I'll probably have to build the T-Rex like over here, which is not a problem. And then the zoo will be sort of, yeah, that sort of shape. Just sort of spread outwards from the entrance. I mean, you know, it's generally a good idea to put the most, well, I would say it's a good idea, I'm not actually sure, the most popular exhibits far away from the entrance, because then that encourages guests to actually explore all of the zoo. Right, 2 males, 2 females, and a scientist. Straight away you can already see that this is expensive. Like the 1,500 each, and the scientists cost 1,000 per month. Now granted, you know, there are a lot of zoo animals that are more than 1,500, but you don't have to wait for the eggs to hatch. And obviously, you know, Caudipteryx are one of the cheaper dinosaurs, really. Yeah, they do need a lot of fresh water, but they also need a lot of rainforest. Probably a bit of grass as well, so I don't know their exact requirements, and I can't look at it right now because they're in egg form. But just as a rough guess, I'm going for something like that. Oh, actually, they might want a bit of dirt. I don't know. I'm going to leave it for now until they hatch. And they're going to want some trees. Handily, their preferred tree is 1 square big, so I don't need that many of them. It saves on cost as well. Yeah, this scientist... Why is he scientist 2? No idea. But he can just be assigned to this exhibit anyway. Yeah, we do want some scientist training, though. Wait. Hold on a second. He's already got scientist training 1, then what the hell are we researching? Is this completely unnecessary? I'm feeling scammed. Is it because of the T-Rex thing? I'm going to get it anyway, because I think there's Scientist Training 2 and maybe even like Scientist Training 3, but... Too much grass, not enough rainforest, okay. So they don't want any dirt, it would seem. Well, otherwise, I was basically bang on. And yeah, Caudipteryx are the only dinosaur digs animal that you can just use regular Zoo Tycoon fencing for. And they're also actually popular with guests. I think they're basically just like a Jurassic chicken. Probably about the same sort of size as a chicken, really. They're not actually very big. I think this game does actually make them out to be bigger than they actually would be in real life. Probably actually slightly fine-tune this. Yeah, just get rid of a bit of fresh water. There you go. Right, so that's 97 suitability. Yeah, so basically all I have to do now is just... well... maintain a zoo rating of 90. Just happiness, animal happiness is not a problem. Build the T-Rex exhibit, and then wait for them to breed. That's it. Essentially, as soon as they breed, we win the scenario. And I don't have to wait around for silly time limits to expire or anything like that. Yeah, so all the guests have gone over to the Caudipteryx, because the Caudipteryx is actually really popular with guests. As is a T-Rex. But obviously we don't have them yet. I think actually the Caudipteryx is the most popular of all the animals that we have, with the exception of maybe the T-Rex. After that, I think it'd be maybe the crocodile, and then like maybe the Bengal tiger. Siberian tiger are pretty popular, polar bear are quite popular, lion are pretty popular, jaguar's reasonably popular. Bison not so much, zebra I don't think, gemsbok I don't think. But yeah, science is training 2, more food upon each visit, that could be useful. I mean, not so much the Caudipteryx, but you've got to assume T-Rex will eat a heck of a lot. Because it's not big enough. Right. Actually, let's keep 4 and sell off number 1. There you go. Because you can just have one male and the rest female, it makes sense to have the youngest male and then just the rest female. The youngest adult male, anyway. So sell off Bison 1 rather than like Bison 4, who was also male, because Bison 4 would be younger, and therefore he would, you know, live longer. Right, I built the reptile house, and that's getting a lot of visitors. I built the primate house, and that's getting a fair amount of visitors, and I built the aviary, and that's getting a fair amount of visitors. I did not build, as far as I'm aware, but I will check. No, I didn't build the insect house. Oh, hang on. That's only listing buildings that make money. But I'm pretty sure I didn't build an insect house. No, I don't see it anywhere, so we can build an insect house. Yeah. Or at least we would, if I could find it. There it is. Wow, that Cordipteryx is really popular. Guests are going over to see the Cordipteryx. Which is good, obviously. It could also be because the restaurant and carousel are right next to it. Speaking of which, we probably actually need a second restaurant. I'm wondering if I should get a restaurant or like a prairie dog cafe or a rainforest restaurant. I think the rainforest restaurant is basically the same as the restaurant. Prairie dog cafe is cheaper and therefore probably doesn't make as much money as a regular restaurant. I think regular restaurant is basically just the best overall for like satisfying guest needs. Yeah, we're getting a lot of like hungry, thirsty guests, etc. So if we've got one restaurant over here, then maybe build the second restaurant like over here? I guess next to the aviary? Yeah, maybe. And then that way we've got, you know, people over here covered. People over here covered. I guess at a pinch we could build like the third one like over here. And then that way you've got like here, here, and then basically most of the zoo covered. But you've got to think that this will start getting some business. Yeah, people are using it already, so. Because we are getting quite a few guests over here as well. I mean, restaurants are great, but they do have a finite capacity, so the more guests you have, you know, the more restaurants you need. So hopefully in a few months the number of like hungry, thirsty, tired guests, etc. will go down, and also this restaurant should start making stonks. Big profit, big money. Scientists will be able to walk faster. Great. Unfortunately it will cost $2,000 and a month of time to research. But hey ho, it's not like we're short on funds. Zoo ratings just dropped to 89. Not really sure why. Why is this animal unhappy? Because he's hungry and he can't find any food. Are you telling me that I didn't assign a zookeeper? I did not. I'm a plonker. Right, so basically we've got some very unhappy, starving tigers. Whoops! Well, that's not good. Yeah, that's going to hurt guest happiness and animal happiness, and therefore probably the zoo rating. Whoops! Yeah, two animals that don't like their exhibit is obviously the T-Rexes. And the two animals that are hungry are the tigers, which are not very happy right now. They will be once they've had some food and they're healed up and poo cleaned out. That was entirely my fault. I just didn't assign a zookeeper to the exhibit, so they were not getting fed or cleaned out or anything. Or healed, apparently. I also think they possibly can't get to their shelter because there's a poo in the way. Yeah, the zoo rating's gone back up to 90, so... Yeah, fortunately animal happiness and guest happiness aren't requirements. Although if they were, it wouldn't really be a problem because they've consistently both been above 95. Well, guest happiness has been above 95 since it hit 95. How are we for, like, maintenance workers and everything? We seem fine, because we've only got 2 maintenance workers, and yet all the fencing is perfectly intact. But later on it might be an idea to get some more maintenance workers. How are we for profit, by the way? So in January, it's hard to say, because we've spent about, well, just under 10,000 on research and construction, which is like one-time cost only. But yeah, so we've made like, you know, $19,000. Approximately. In profit, which is pretty damn good. We've only got 15 benefactors, which I'm a bit surprised by. But we're also getting quite a lot of admissions, even at $49 admission price. And also this restaurant is making big money. Which is great. Look at the crowds of people around the restaurant. Right. How are we for overcrowding? No problems right now, but we will have problems later on. Camel exhibit wants a bit of repairing, so let's get a maintenance worker somewhere. If I can even see the damage. There it is. Yeah, it's coming to repair it. We will get another maintenance worker anyway. Yeah, we have 3 maintenance workers. Siberian tiger, not enough shelters. Yeah, let's just get another shelter, I suppose. I mean, once they grow up and get sold off, that shelter will become unnecessary, but for the time being, we can have a shelter, it's no problem. Zoo is not big enough. Right, well... let's sell off male 1. And actually we'll sell off male 2 as well. And then male 7, he can have all the females to himself. Right, line 5 will take over from line 1, so line 1 gets sold off. Jaguar are fine, they're still not reproduced. Yeah, Jaguar don't breed much, I've noticed, and they also don't live very long, so... Yeah, they're reasonably attractive to guests, and they don't require a very big exhibit, but they are kind of also a bit of a problem in that regard. Not enough shelters. Right, well that's easily rectified. There you go. Actually, I don't like that. Yeah, that's better. And then the Bengal tigers, they're now nice and happy. Brilliant. Animal happiness 97, guest happiness 97. And the Caudipteryx are still babies, so they will take a bit of time before they grow up just yet. Insect House is getting lots of visitors, which is nice. Scientist Training 3 is almost done. There is no Scientist Training 4, so once that's done... maybe just go into staff education? Because we can do more zookeeper training. I mean, maintenance worker training 1 is useless, but maintenance worker training 2 is good. Tour guide training is useless. Dinosaur care could be useful just purely for the... yeah, because I think like this will be useful for T-Rexes and the Caudipteryx. I don't know what will be useful for the T-Rexes. because we've already done all the T-Rex care. So, like, you know, is dinosaur longevity and dinosaur antibiotics actually going to make a difference if we've already got it from T-Rexes? I don't know. This game, by trying to help you, kind of makes it more confusing. But yeah, basically we just need to save up some cash now. I don't know how much money we're going to need, though. Because if this needs to be 20 by 20, and I'm pretty sure it does need to be, then that is going to be 28,000 just on the exhibit fencing, which is quite ridiculous, really. So, plus the terrain, and then the shelters and the foliage and the rocks. It's going to be about 50,000 at least. At least we don't have to spend $12,000 actually buying the T-Rex, because each T-Rex would actually cost us $6,000 to adopt, and we would have to actually spend money to research them in the first place. So we save $12,000 by them just being donated to the zoo, but you got to think that if it's $28,000 just for the fencing, it's going to cost, you know, maybe like $50,000 to build this full exhibit. Saying that, we're making quite decent profit, so it shouldn't take too long to save up the cash. I think we need more maintenance workers though, because the fencing is starting to deteriorate. I still think it must be really weird though. You go to the zoo and there's just all these regular zoo Tycoon animals and like petting zoo and animal theatre and reptile house, aviary, restaurants, etc. You know, you go see the crocodiles, you go see the lions, you go see the polar bears, you go see the Bengal tigers. Fairly dangerous carnivorous animals. Then you go see a Caudipteryx and you think, well that's odd. I've not seen one of them for 100 million years, given their extinction. But they're not a dangerous animal. They eat insects, they're about, you know, 3-4 feet tall, whatever. They're not a dangerous animal. And then next to the bison and the Siberian tiger, you just see a giant electrified fence with a load of T-Rex in it. Perfectly normal zoo Tycoon. Oh dear. They're still babies, wow. Okay, I feel like they've been babies for a long time now. How much is the compost building making, actually? Yeah, that's 1,400 a month. That's nice. Nice cash. And we've alleviated the guest hunger, tired, etc. problems. Dinosaur antibiotics. Done in 40 days. Bloody hell. I think I've said this before, but in actual fact, $66 a day is the maximum you can spend on a particular research. But if you reduce it to $33, it doesn't actually take twice as long. I don't think. So even though spending $66 on research gets it done quicker, you actually possibly spend more money in total because it doesn't actually decrease the amount of time it takes to fully research proportionate to the amount of money you spend on it. It's like the money per day times the time multiplied by the time it takes to research is not actually a constant figure. So whereas I'm saying like you're spending $66 a day for 30 days, that's like $2,000. If I reduce it to $33 a day, you'd expect it to go from like 30 days to 60 days, but in actual fact it might only be like 50 days, so therefore it takes longer, but you actually save yourself some money. So in a way, if you're not in a rush, don't be spending $66. But if you've got the money, you might as well spend the $66. It's a toss-up between like how desperate you are for the research and like how bothered you are about saving cash. What was that as well? Polar bear is ill. Oh dear. Oh yeah, I was going to get maintenance workers. So I've still got a bit of damaged fencing here and there that I can't see, but it seems to be fine now. And zebra. There. I mean, with a lot of these animals, it doesn't really matter. With Zoo Tycoon animals, probably matters more for things like, you know, crocodiles and tigers than it does for, like, zebra. But certainly with dinosaurs, you want to keep it in tip-top condition. Because I won't be using the pit method for this T-Rex, so hopefully it'll be fine. Right, let's at least begin construction. Not necessarily putting the actual T-Rexes into the exhibit just yet, but we can at least start construction. Hang on. I want to build it like over here. 7,000. 7,000, there you go. Right, so that is T-Rex exhibit. Establishing the foundations, essentially, of, you know, building the fencing. And this electric fencing, the fact that it's flashing is making me confused as to, like, where everything is. And especially, like, these trees. Like, I'm looking at this exhibit entrance, and I'm thinking, right, it's there. The other entrance is there, so they're lined up, more or less. I mean, I can make it even better by just doing it like that. But then it's like, okay, with these trees, I can't see the entrance, and I'm pretty sure they can get in and out. But I'm not sure. Like, I'm not certain. And unfortunately, I don't know the exact requirements of the T-Rex in terms of terrain. I know that they're going to want a shelter, I'm pretty sure. And they're also going to want foliage, which I can't get the monkey puzzle tree. But I think they can get away with just broadleaf bush handily. Yeah, I want to make the exhibit as suitable as possible so that the dinosaur doesn't just like destroy all the bloody foliage and get really annoyed. Constant spiral of being annoyed. Oops. I know they want a bit of grey stone. Don't think they want any snow. I don't know about dirt, fresh water, you've got to assume they want a bit. Yeah, I don't know about dirt, but I think they do want quite a bit of grey stone. And then maybe a bit, and then obviously some rocks. You can add a bit of elevation to their exhibit, but I don't think it's strictly necessary. So I think plonk them in for now, and then fine-tune as necessary. Okay, so that's only 78 suitability. Too much grass, not enough greystone, not enough deciduous. Oh, I wasn't expecting that, okay. So he's saying it's well suited, even though it's only 83 suitability. Basically, just need a lot more rocks and probably more foliage. Right, that's 93 suitability. So basically, as soon as these guys breed, we win the scenario. Now that could take, 30 seconds from now, or it could be, years and years and years. There's kind of no real guarantee with these sort of things. All I can really do is just maintain the happiness and the suitability rating as high as possible. But we do need the scientists to be assigned to this exhibit as well. So if you can just, do some stuff, that'd be great. So yeah, literally all we need to do now is just wait for the T-Rexes to breed. That's it. Also, is it T-Rexes or just wait for the T... Is it wait for the T-Rexes to breed, or wait for the T-Rex to breed? Is the plural of Tyrannosaurus Rex T-Rexes or T-Rex? He seems to be doing some sort of mating ritual. I'm also not sure, actually, is it as soon as the baby appears in egg form that we will win the scenario? Or does the egg have to hatch? And then we win. I've got a feeling it's just literally when it becomes an egg. But I don't know. But yeah, literally as soon as these guys breed, that's it. And like I said, that could take 10 seconds from now. Or it could be an hour. Or it could be forever. Nobody knows. It's basically entirely random and there's not really anything I can do. Besides, keep the T-Rexes as happy as possible and keep their suitability as high as possible. And possibly do some more research into increasing the probability of them reproducing, but I think I've already done all that, so... Yep, just basically got to wait for them to breed. Plain Zebra 3 has died of old age, which means that Zebra 2 and Zebra 1 are probably already... Yeah, actually I think they got sold off because I think they're male. Now let's get some more maintenance workers. Let's repair some slightly damaged fencing. Let's spend some money, because we don't have anything to spend money on right now, and we are making profit, so we might as well just spend money on researching animal houses, I suppose. There's not really anything else to research. No real point researching dinosaur houses. And there's no point researching foliage or, you know, endangered animals and stuff like that. We don't need shelters. Staff education would be useful for like zookeeper training. Scientist training is already done. Maintenance worker training, like I said, maintenance worker training 1 is useless, as is tour guide training. Maintenance worker training 2 allows them to fix fences faster or possibly move faster. And then zookeeper training 2 is they can run faster, I think. And possibly also feed animals faster or just deliver more food. Right, Birds of Africa is now available for the aviary. The aviary is over here. In actual fact, I think doing more research will increase the zoo rating, so whilst I don't think we're really at much risk of the zoo rating going below 90, just doing extra research will, you know, help the zoo rating. This exhibit looks really empty for some reason to me. I think because it doesn't have any shelters and it also doesn't have much rocks, so yeah, it looks fairly empty to me. But yeah, overall this zoo is actually, I mean, it looks, you know, basically the same as every other zoo I make, but it's a nice looking zoo nonetheless. One thing I can do is put brick wall all around this. Primates of Southeast Asia is now available, Dinosaur Longevity is now available. I don't know if you get any kind of like money or reward for exhibiting a baby T-Rex. I think sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. Maybe you don't in like scenarios, but you do in freeform, I can't remember. Or more specifically, I don't know. I'm building this brick wall around the perimeter of the zoo, but I'm building it a bit lazily. Because I should put something over here, but I don't know what. It's kind of it would be a good place for like an animal house of some variety, but I've already kind of got all of them. Unless I build the nocturnal house later on. Depends how long it takes for these guys to breed, really. We've got the birds and the primates. So we've got the birds, we've got the primates. Still need the insects and the reptiles, and we're doing the reptiles right now. I think reptiles and insects only have 2 different things you can exhibit, and then primates, aviary and nocturnal is 3. Well, the suitability is 99 and their happiness is 100, 96 and 99, so there's not really anything I can do. Just gotta get them to breed. Oops. Oops. That's so I did it twice. Deadliest snakes in the world, yep. Might as well put in a bit of dinosaur scenery, because why not? It fills the gap. Put in... There's no 5x5 scenery. Okay. So let's just put in a turtle fountain. Zebra 4 has died of old age. Okay. So hopefully we've still got a male zebra. Because presumably Zebra 4 was female. I don't know for certain, but I'm just guessing. Okay, is this T-Rex ever going to breed? Hey, there you go. Right, and not a moment too soon, because 1 minute more and I'd hit the 2 hour mark. So there you go. Don't even have to wait for the T-Rex to hatch. Literally as soon as it is born, or laid, I suppose, as soon as the T-Rex appears, yeah, you win the scenario. So yeah, nice scenario, not difficult. You don't have to wait around. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe. That is it for Dinosaur Digs. Next is Marine Mania, but more dinosaurs to come. Take care, folks. Have a nice day. Bye bye.